Kofo was a boy from Ajagunli, raised by a single mother who sold roasted plantain by the roadside. While other boys played football or chased bikes, Kofo watched her roast and turn each bolai with precision. That was where his passion for cooking began. Not in a fancy kitchen, but beside a coal pot. His mother used to say, "Kofo, when you cook for people, you're feeding their soul. Never feed them lies." Kofo took that to heart. After finishing secondary school, he enrolled in a local culinary school with the little money his mother had saved. He was talented, he could balance flavors like a magician. Teachers noticed him. And so did the outside world. One day, a letter came. "Congratulations, Kofo. You have been selected for a 6-month apprenticeship at the Silver Spoon restaurant." The Silver Spoon, the most exclusive restaurant in Lagos, owned by the famous chef Kojo. Everyone talked about Kojo. He had fed presidents, celebrities, and foreign dignitaries. He was rich, handsome, and had a calm charisma that pulled people in. Even on Instagram, he was humble and inspirational. Every poor boy dreamed of being him. And now Kofo had a chance to learn under him. It felt like a blessing. But the devil wears many faces. Kofo entered the kitchen of the Silver Spoon on a Tuesday morning. Everything sparkled. The tiles were white. The pans shone like mirrors. Every chef moved swiftly, in perfect rhythm. Kojo walked in, tall and confident, wearing his white chef's jacket and signature hat. He smiled at Kofo and said, "You're welcome, young man. In this kitchen, we don't just cook. We create magic." Kofo was in awe. The food there wasn't just tasty, it was addictive. Customers returned again and again, ordering dishes with strange names and secret sauces. Kofo asked where the ingredients came from. The senior sous chef replied, "Chef Kojo has his own sauce. Don't worry about that." Kofo noticed something odd: meat suppliers never came. No delivery trucks. Yet, the fridge was always stocked. When he asked about it again, a kitchen porter warned, "Don't poke your nose. Just do your work." That night, Kofo couldn't sleep. He remembered his mother's words. A good chef asks questions. A foolish one swallows everything. 3 weeks into his apprenticeship, Kofo was assigned to clean the cold room. While scrubbing the floor, he noticed a large metal freezer in the corner, chained and padlocked. The rest of the fridge was normal. Beef, fish, chicken. But this one, it looked different. He called a cleaner over. "What's in that freezer?" Kofo asked. The man froze. He looked around and whispered, "Don't ask questions that can bury you." Kofo laughed nervously, "Are you joking?" "No joke. Just pray Kojo never asks you to open it." That same night, Kojo came into the cold room. He had a silver tray in hand and a key. He unlocked the chained freezer, opened it, and brought out something wrapped in a white cloth. Kofo stood quietly at the far end, pretending to mop. As Kojo turned, the edge of the cloth slipped slightly. Kofo saw a braided head. Human hair. He gasped softly, but Kojo didn't notice. His hands trembled as he returned to the staff quarters. Something was wrong. Something was very wrong. The rain started slowly that evening. Just a soft tapping on the zinc roof of the Silver Spoon staff quarters. But inside Kofo's chest, a storm had already begun. He couldn't concentrate at work. Every clang of a pot made him jump. Every time Chef Kojo passed by, Kofo could feel his own sweat trickle down his back. The image of the girl's head, so lifeless, so real, burned in his mind like hot oil. Why? Why was it in the freezer? What kind of person displayed it like meat on a tray? As night fell, Kofo found himself in the corner of the small kitchen canteen, pushing rice around his plate. The usually bustling place felt colder tonight. Then Amaka came in. She wasn't wearing her usual bright lipstick or her heels. Her face was bare, her eyes tired. She looked around and saw Kofo sitting alone. She hesitated, then walked over and sat beside him. "You saw it, didn't you?" she said quietly. Kofo froze. What do you mean? Don't pretend, Amaka whispered. I saw you staring into the freezer yesterday. Kofo dropped his spoon. You've seen it before? He asked, voice low. Amaka looked down at her hands. The first time I saw it was 6 months ago. Kofo's mouth went dry. She continued, her voice trembling. Chef Kojo told me it was a pig's head prepared for a foreign dish. But I know what I saw. The skin was dark. The hair was braided. Just like my cousin's. I didn't sleep for 3 nights after that. Why didn't you tell anyone? Who would believe me? She snapped softly. Chef Kojo is worshipped here. The staff adore him. The elites pay millions for his food. He pays well. Nobody asks questions. Kofo leaned in. Do you think he killed her? Amaka's eyes filled with tears. I don't know. But people disappear around this area. Kofo. And some of the girls who used to work here just stopped showing up. No goodbye. No phone calls. Nothing. Kofo felt chills crawl up his spine. There was something deeply wrong in that kitchen. And it was buried under spices, smiles, and perfectly plated dishes. Amaka touched his hand. You have to be careful. I think he knows when someone is curious. Kofo swallowed hard. That night, he didn't return to the staff quarters. He sat outside in the compound, under the small mango tree near the back gate, watching the stars. He thought of his mother in Alasia, who sold akara by the roadside to pay his school fees. He thought of all the things Chef Kojo had told him in admiration. How he could become the next great chef if he stayed focused, learned fast, and stayed loyal. But now, loyalty had a different taste. Bitter. Salty. Almost like blood. Suddenly, he remembered something odd. Kojo never ate any of his own meals. He cooked. He plated. He performed. But he never tasted anything. That thought alone made Kofo's stomach turn. As he sat there, he made a decision. He had to go back to that freezer. Alone. And this time, he would find answers. The night was heavy with silence. Not even the hum of generators or the barking of stray dogs broke the stillness. Inside the staff quarters, everyone slept, unaware of the danger that cooked slowly in their midst. Kofo didn't sleep. His eyes were wide open, and his heart pounded louder than a pounding mortar in a village kitchen. He had waited long enough. Wearing only a black polo and dark trousers, he slipped out of bed, careful not to wake the snoring sous chef beside him. He crept out of the room, down the narrow hallway, and into the back path that led to the main kitchen building. The compound was dimly lit, but Kofo knew every corner. He moved like a rat in a familiar house, heart pounding, hands sweaty. The main kitchen door was locked. But that didn't stop him. Earlier in the evening, he had watched Kojo return to his office with a strange, black metal box. The chef didn't know Kofo saw him remove a small key from inside that same box. It was hidden in a hollowed-out cookbook labeled Rare Herbs of Asia. Kofo's hands shook as he picked the lock to the office, something he'd learned as a boy on the streets of Ajigunle. The door creaked open. He stepped inside, careful not to knock over the framed awards and photographs on the wall. Kojo's smile was in every picture, shaking hands with governors, celebrities, even foreign dignitaries. Kofo found the hollow book easily. The key was still inside. He slid it into his pocket, tiptoed out, and headed for the cold room. The industrial freezer stood tall and silent, humming gently like it held secrets only the dead could tell. His fingers hesitated at the lock. Then he turned the key. Click. A burst of cold air escaped, biting his skin. He lifted the lid slowly. And what he saw made him stagger back. There were not one, not two, but 6 human heads arranged on trays like roasted goat for Sunday rice. Their eyes were closed, some with braids, some with half-done cornrows. One even had a small gold earring still dangling. Each one had something familiar, faces Kofo had seen briefly around the kitchen. Trainees who came and never returned. Kofo's breath came in gasps. He forced himself to raise his phone and snap pictures, his hands trembling. Just as he stepped back to shut the lid, he heard it. A voice. Looking for something. Kofo turned sharply. Chef Kojo was standing in the doorway. No hat. No smile. Just cold eyes and a cleaver in his hand. Curiosity, Kojo said slowly. Stepping closer. Has killed more boys in this kitchen than bad oil. Kofo stumbled back. His voice failed. You just wanted to know what makes my food special, ABI. Kojo's voice was soft, almost mocking. You wanted to see behind the curtain. Why are there human heads in your freezer? Kofo asked, heart thundering. Kojo gave a slow smile. Because they're spirits. Flavor the soul of the food. Kofo's stomach turned. What kind of madness? It's not madness, Kojo said, stepping closer. It's tradition. It's power. These people. Their lives feed others. That's why the elites come back. They taste truth. They taste fear. They taste sacrifice. Kofo backed into a shelf, heart pounding. What do you want from me? He whispered. Kojo looked him up and down. You're smart. Brave. Curious. You could be like me. Kofo shook his head. Never. Kojo's eyes darkened. Then you've made your choice. In one sudden movement, Kofo hurled a metal bowl toward the light switch. Sparks flew. The kitchen plunged into darkness. Kojo cursed. Kofo bolted. He sprinted out the back door. Past the garden, over the drainage pit. And through the broken fence where the security light had stopped working months ago. He ran until he reached the nearby police post. Barefoot, panting, shirt drenched in sweat. But would they believe him? Would a poor kitchen assistant's story of skulls and cannibal be taken seriously against the reputation of Lagos's most beloved chef? As Kofo stood at the station gate, staring at the disinterested officers sipping Gary and groundnut, he realized this battle was just beginning.